I am making today a beautiful aromatic garlic scape salt. So what are garlic scapes? Well, garlic scapes are those twirly things that you see on top of your garlic. If you've never grown garlic before, they kind of come out in the spring, sometime in June before the garlic is ready. So you can make many things with these garlic scapes, and if you're wondering what different things you can make, I will link a couple of recipes that I have below in the description if you're interested in seeing other ideas that you can do with these beautiful garlic scapes. They taste, it tastes like garlic. They're really delicious. They have that garlicky taste, and so it's just another way to use up your garlic plant. So I am going to make for you this garlic scape salt. It turns into a beautiful greenish tint. It's absolutely beautiful. It's absolutely delicious. And all you need are 2 ingredients. It's really easy to make. What we need to make this garlic scape salt is basically a nice salt. You can use any salt really that you have on hand, but I like to use like a coarse salt or a kosher salt or a pickling salt, just because it's a little bit of a coarser, nice, more crystally salt. So I just like to use those kind of salts, but anything you have on hand is fine. And of course, the main ingredient, your garlic scapes. If you don't grow your own garlic, if you don't have any scapes, you can usually find these at a farmer's market sometime in June, or I've even seen some in grocery stores as well. Maybe you have a friend close by who's growing their own garlic, and I'm sure they would be happy to give you some. Basically what we're looking at is you need somewhere around 1/2 cup to 3/4 of a cup of salt, and maybe 10 to 12 garlic scapes. And the reason why this is not a precise science is because it all depends on how big your garlic scapes are. So let me show you what we need to do. So the first thing that we're going to need to do is we're going to need to chop up the garlic scapes. They don't need to be really small. We are going to blend them in the food processor, but it's just to make the process go a little bit faster in the food processor. And then you just measure out your salt, and that's it. So let's get these in the food processor. Just make sure to scrape down your bowl every once in a while. Once you have your garlic scapes all nice and finely chopped up, you want to add your salt. I don't put my salt right away because I don't want it to blend quite as much. I like to keep some nice big crystals of salt in there, so I just add it when everything else is done. So let's get that salt in now. It has to have the consistency of like a wet sand. So I feel that it's still a little bit too damp, so I'm just going to add a little bit more salt to it. That looks perfect. You want to spread this out on a cookie sheet with some parchment paper. So I'm going to be drying this out in the oven, but you can use your dehydrator as well. That's another way that you can dry this out. Unfortunately, my dehydrator is busy dehydrating basil, so I am going to be using my oven for this time. So now let's pop this in the oven at around 200, 225, 250 degrees, depending on your oven. We're going to leave it there for about an hour, stirring about every 15 minutes. Just give this a stir. Make sure to spread it out again so that it dries evenly. Pop it back in. Been 45 minutes in. See how it's doing. Don't worry if it looks a little clumpy. We'll get rid of those clumps. Alright, we'll pop it back in for another 15 minutes and see how it looks. It's finally dry. It took about an hour, so that's pretty much what I was expecting. I put it at 225 because I didn't want it to cook. I really just wanted it to dry out, and really it was a really quick process. Once it's cool enough to handle, You can work your way through kind of rubbing it together with your hands, or this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to give it a couple little whirls in my food processor just to break up the clumps, because I do find that it is maybe a little too clumpy and I don't think I'll do a good job breaking this apart with my hands. So let me put this in the food processor just to break it down a little bit. There you go. Another easy, simple recipe made from salt and garlic scapes, and it's something that you're absolutely going to love incorporating inside of your recipes and potatoes and garlic bread, and it's going to be absolutely delicious. So I do hope you've enjoyed this video. If you do, give it a big thumbs up and subscribe. Be sure to check out the link in my description. I do give some other ideas of things that you can make with garlic scapes, and as well I have links to some of the most favorite products that I do use, and be sure to check back again soon.